And so we settle in. You can feel your body beginning to grow heavy in the most pleasant way. In our time together tonight, there is nothing to examine, nothing to understand, only the gentle rhythm of a story. A story about a world built on a razor's edge of balance. A world of brilliant sun and deepest night. Of creation and sacrifice, where the very act of giving life could lead to something else entirely. Before we drift too far, if you feel a connection to this place, you're welcome to leave a quiet like or subscribe. Think of it not as a task, but as leaving a soft footprint on the path before you continue your journey inward. But please know, your peaceful presence here is thanks enough. And if you feel so inclined, you can let me know in the comments what city you're listening from, and what time it is for you. It's a quiet comfort to imagine all of us, in different corners of the world, finding this moment of rest together. Alright, let the shadows in your room grow long and soft. Maybe you can hear the faint, steady sound of your own breathing, and together, let's allow the story to begin. Your world is a world of two halves. It's the first and last thing you are ever taught. It's in the air you breathe, the food you eat, the very ground beneath your feet. Duality, not as a conflict. Not really, more like a cosmic bargain. A grand, eternal dance. There is the sun, a blazing, golden disk that demands your attention every morning. You feel its heat on your brown skin as you walk the causeways of your great city. It is life. It is warmth. It is the god, height is to put it, the hummingbird of the south, who is also the god of war. See, even there, life and conflict, wrapped up in one. Every day, he fights a battle to rise into the sky, and your people have a sacred duty to give him the strength for that fight. The sun is not a gentle, passive thing in your world. It is a warrior who needs nourishment. And then there is the night, the cool, velvet dark that blankets your city. The silence broken only by the chirping of insects and the distant cry of a night bird. This is the domain of the moon and stars, a world of mystery, of spirits. A place ruled by the jaguar god of the night sky. The day is for men and work. The night is for gods and secrets. This duality is not just in the sky. It is your city itself. You live in Tenatectul, an impossible place, a jewel born of a lake. It is a city of water and stone, built on an island, expanded by human hands. You walk on wide, solid causeways that connect you to the mainland. But to visit your neighbor, you might step into a canoe and glide silently down a shimmering canal. Your home is made of stone and wood, solid and earthy. Yet just outside, you see the famous floating gardens, the China palms. These are man-made islands of woven reeds and rich mud, where vibrant green shoots of maize, beans, and squash grow alongside explosive bursts of marigolds and dahlias. It is a city that is both a triumph of engineering and a part of nature. Earth and water, living together. Historians in a far-off future will marvel at it, trying to map its watery streets. A Venice of the New World. But even that comparison doesn't quite capture the unique magic of it. This principle, this elegant balancing act, touches everything, hot and cold, wet and dry, life and death. For you, these are not opposites in a state of war. They are partners. One cannot exist without the other. Life, you are taught, is a loan. It is borrowed from the gods, and the debt must be repaid. This is why sacrifice is not a horror to you. It is a fundamental part of the cosmic economy. To keep the sun rising, to ensure the maize will grow, something must be given back. The universe is thirsty, and it is the sacred duty of your people to quench that thirst. But how this was all truly perceived is a matter of some debate. The stories we have now were written down after your world had already been broken. They were recorded by men from a different land, with a different god, and they tried to make sense of your beliefs through their own lens. The scholars of tomorrow will argue endlessly about it. Did they exaggerate the darkness to justify their own actions? Did they misunderstand the subtle poetry of your beliefs, translating it into something more brutal? We can only guess. We can only look at the painted box, the codices that survived, and see the images you saw, the feathered serpent, the skull rex, the gods who were both beautiful and terrifying. And in this world of grand, cosmic dualities, there is one that defines your own life most profoundly. The division between man and woman. A man's path is clear. He is born to be a warrior, to capture enemies on the battlefield to feed the sun. His glory is found in the clash of clubs and the flight of arrows. His is the world of the eagle and the jaguar, of outward strength and public honor. Your path is different. You are the other half of the bargain. Your domain is the home, the hearth, the loom. You are the creator of life, the weaver of cloth, the grinder of corn that sustains the warrior. Your power is internal, domestic, but no less vital. A man captures a life on the battlefield. You, it is hoped, will create one from within your own body. He is the sun, you are the earth. You live in this perfect, dangerous balance. You understand the rules. You know your place in the grand design. But you are young, and you have not yet been asked to pay your own debt back to the universe. Your part in the great cosmic dance is just about to be called, and you will find that your battlefield, though quiet and private, is no less perilous than any war. Your part in this grand design begins not with the drumbeat of war, but with the whisper of wooden thread. Every morning, you rise before the sun has fully won its battle. The air is cool and damp with the lake's breath. Your first duty is to the loom. It is not a grand, standing structure like those in other lands. It is a backstrap loom, a beautifully simple and intimate tool. You tie one end to a wooden post on your patio, and the other end is secured by a strap that goes around your lower back. The loom is not a machine. It is an extension of you. Your body provides the tension. When you lean forward, the threads loosen. When you lean back, they pull taut. You are part of the process. Your posture and breath dictating the tightness of the weave. Your fingers, stained with the faint colors of your work, move with a quick, practiced grace. They dance between the warp threads, lifting and lowering the heddle rod made of smooth, polished wood. You slide a shuttle through the opening, its bobbin wrapped in brilliantly colored cotton thread. Twerk. You use a heavy wooden baton, your sword, to beat the new thread tightly into place, adding another tiny line to the growing pattern. It is a slow, rhythmic, and deeply satisfying task. You are not just making cloth. You are weaving order out of chaos, creating beauty from a bundle of spun fibers. The patterns you create are not random. They are a language. A series of stepped frets might represent a serpent. A diamond shape could be the eye of a god. The colors are a story in themselves. The vibrant red comes from the coccinelle, a tiny insect that lives on cactus petals. It takes thousands of them, carefully dried and crushed, to make a small amount of dye, a color so prized it is almost as valuable as jade. The deep indigo, the brilliant yellow from marigold petals. These are all gifts from the earth, transformed by your hands into wearable wealth. This cloth will be used for your family's clothing, but also as tribute to the emperor, a form of currency at the bustling market. Your work clothes the empire. When you are not at your loom, you are at the hearth. Pure. Your work is about sustenance. The foundation of every meal is maize, but it's not as simple as grinding dried kernels. First, the corn must be boiled in water with powdered lime or wood ash. This process, which future people will call nixtamalization, is a kind of kitchen magic. It softens the tough outer hull of the corn, but more importantly, it unlocks its nutrients, making it healthier and more digestible. It is a crucial piece of ancestral knowledge, without which your people could never have built their great civilization on a diet of corn. Historians will later call it one of the most important food processing inventions in human history. You just call it making dinner. After soaking, you kneel before the meat, a sloping, three-legged grinding stone made of volcanic rock. You take a handful of the soft, swollen kernels and begin to grind them with a stone rolling pin called a mano. It is hard work. Your shoulders and arms ache with the repetitive, circular motion. Chuh, chuh, chuh goes the stone on stone, a sound that is the heartbeat of every home in your city. Slowly, the kernels break down into a soft, fragrant dough called masa. From this, you will put out thin, perfect circles with your hands, slap, 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 and toast them on a hot clay griddle. The camel. These warm tortillas are the plate, the spoon, the meal itself. You might fill them with beans, squash, and chilies, or for a bit of a treat, you might add something a little more exotic. Perhaps some of the spirulina algae skimmed from the surface of the lake, dried into green cakes that taste surprisingly savory. Some call it tequila, a name that some future linguists will translate rather unappetizingly as stone excrement. You just think it tastes good. Your world is full of such things. Little wonders that seem strange to outsiders but are simply a part of your daily bread. The story that will be told about your life is one of strict, separate duties. Man should the world, woman should the home, and in many ways, that is the clear and honored truth. But the reality is often a little softer, a little more complex. Some women own property, some run stalls in the great market. Their voice is as loud and confident as any man's. Some become priestess, initiated into the mysteries of the gods, or healers, with a deep knowledge of the thousands of plants that grow in the valley. So while your world is defined by the loom and the grinding stone, historians of the future will debate the true extent of a woman's power and autonomy. Was the separation of roles an iron cage, or just a different side of the same respected house? So no, these questions do not trouble you. Your life is full, your hands are busy. You are known for the quality of your weaving and the strength in your arms. In your community, a healthy, sturdy body is praised. It shows you are a hard worker, capable and strong. It is a body built for the tasks of life. For weaving, for grinding, for carrying water from the canal. And, everyone hopes, for carrying a child. And so your days are measured by these gentle, domestic rhythms. The thwack of the loom, the shaw of the meat hate. But soon, the whispers in your home will change. They will no longer be about thread or clay, but of something else entirely. A new duty, a new future. The change begins not with a formal decree, but with a whisper, a series of quiet conversations between your mother and your aunties. Their heads bowed together after the midday meal, their voices low and humming like bees in a clover field. You catch snippets of it while you work. A name is mentioned, a young man from a good family. His father is a feather worker, a high-status artisan. His uncle is a respected warrior. You've seen him at the market. He is strong, quiet, with kind eyes. You pretend not to notice their talk. You focus on your loom, pulling the batten down with a little more force than necessary. Your heart beats a little faster. You know what this means. Your time as a girl in your father's house is drawing to a close. One evening, your father calls you to sit with him. He is a good man, a potter. His hands, usually cut in dry clay, are clean. He looks at you with a mixture of pride and a gentle sadness that all parents feel when this moment arrives. He tells you that the time has come. A match has been proposed. In your world, marriage is not a matter for two young people to decide based on fleeting feelings. It is an alliance between families, a carefully negotiated contract that strengthens the community. It is a social duty, but that doesn't mean it is without warmth or care. Your parents want you to be happy, to be well cared for, to be with a family that will respect you. Soon after, the matchmaker arrives. She is an older woman, a professional weaver of destinies. Her official title is Sia Huat Lan Q, and she is a formidable presence. She is hired by the young man's family to formally ask for your hand. Her arrival is a piece of public theater, and the entire neighborhood knows what is happening. She does not simply knock and enter. The ritual is precise. She arrives at your family's home after sunset, carrying a special gift, perhaps a basket of fine foods or a bolt of cloth. She speaks in a highly formal, almost poetic style of Nahuatl, the language of your people. It's a dialect full of reverence and metaphor, used for prayers and important occasions. She will praise the young man's lineage, his skills, his character. She will speak of him as a sturdy tree, ready to provide shelter. Your family, in turn, must not appear too eager. This is part of the dance. They will receive her with great courtesy, but they will give her a soft refusal. They will say you are too young, too inexperienced. They might jokingly call you their precious necklace, their quetzal feather, a treasure they cannot possibly part with. This is expected. It shows that you are valued. The matchmaker will leave, only to return a few days later. Again, the ritual plays out. She will present her case once more, perhaps with even more flowery language. And again, your family will politely demur. It can take 3 or 4 visits before the negotiation is complete. It is a slow, respectful courtship between families. During this time, you are kept mostly out of sight, but you are the silent center of it all. You listen from the next room, your hands still, your breath held. You feel a strange mix of excitement and anxiety. This is the path your life is supposed to take. It is a great honor, and yet, it is a future decided for you. A door opening into a world where you will be a wife, a stranger in a new home, with a whole new set of duties and expectations. The final piece of the puzzle is divination. Before your family gives their final answer, they will consult a tonal poaki, a day counter. This is a priest who is an expert in the sacred calendar. The tonal po. This calendar is a complex cycle of 260 days, where each day has a unique combination of a number and a symbol, like rabbit, or reed, or rain. It is the spiritual engine of your universe. The day counter will look at the day you were born and the day the young man was born. He will analyze the numbers and symbols, determining if your destinies are compatible. Are your signs in harmony? Does the jaguar clash with the eagle? Is the water a good match for the fire? It's a bit like the astrology of a later time, but far more integral to daily life. A bad match could spell disaster, not just for the couple, but for the entire community. Some scholars will later argue that these readings were often flexible. If a match was politically or socially advantageous, the priest might find a way to interpret the signs favorably. But for you, in this moment, his word is absolute. A few days later, the news comes. The signs are good. The heavens approve. Your birth sign and his are said to complement each other, like the earth and the rain. Your family gives its formal, tearful consent to the matchmaker. And just like that, your future is set. You are no longer just your father's daughter. You are now a bride-to-be. The loom is put away for a time. The grinding stone is passed to your younger sister. Now, a new set of preparations must begin. A new kind of weaving. The weaving of a new life. And as the joyous reality of your engagement settles over your house, you feel a deep sense of purpose. You will be a good wife. You will honor your new family. You will fulfill your duty. And you will begin your own family, bringing a new citizen, a new captive, into the world for the glory of the empire. At least, that is the plan. The days leading up to your wedding are a blur of fragrant, controlled chaos. Your home, normally a place of quiet work, is now filled with the constant comings and goings of aunties, cousins, and respected female elders from the community. They arrive with their arms full of gifts, bundles of brilliantly colored feathers, intricate pottery, baskets overflowing with chilies and cacao beans. The air is thick with the smell of simmering sauces, burning copal incense, and the sweet, intoxicating scent of flowers. Flowers are everywhere. Your people are obsessed with them. It's a love affair that will baffle the first men who arrive from across the sea, who see you as stern warriors but can reconcile that with your passion for blossoms. Flowers are not just decoration. They are a form of prayer, a tribute, a way to communicate with the divine. Wreaths of marigolds, the CEM Pasogel, whose fiery color is said to represent the sun, are hung over doorways. Your mother and her sisters spend hours weaving intricate garlands of tuberoses and dahlias to be worn by the guests. The floor of your patio is scattered with petals, a fragrant carpet for the coming celebration. On the day of the wedding, you are bathed and your hair is washed and carefully dressed by your mother. She parts it into two sections, twisting it upwards and binding it on top of your head, a style that signifies you are now a married woman. You are dressed in a new huapil, a beautiful tunic woven by your own hands in the months leading up to this day. The pattern is complex, full of symbols of fertility and protection. Around your neck, she places a necklace of jade beads, cool, heavy, and green, the color of light, of maize shoots, of hope. The ceremony itself takes place at night. There is no temple, no priest in the way you might imagine. A wedding is a community affair, sealed not in the house of a god, but in the house of the groom. As darkness falls, a procession forms to escort you from your childhood home to your new one. It is a river of light and sound. Your relatives and friends carry flickering pine torches, casting dancing shadows on the stone walls of the city. Musicians play flutes and shake rattles, a gentle, rhythmic pulse that guides your steps. You do not walk. You are carried on the back of a specially chosen carrier woman, usually a strong, respected elder. This is a great honor. It signifies that you are precious cargo, a treasure being delivered from one family to another. You cling to her back, the scent of pine smoke and flowers filling your senses, your heart thrumming with the beat of the rattles. When you arrive at the groom's home, his family is waiting at the doorway to greet you. His mother offers you gifts and speaks words of welcome. Your groom steps forward. You see him properly now, dressed in a new cloak, his face serious but his eyes shining in the torchlight. You are led together to the hearth, the heart of the home. You sit side by side on a special reed mat that has been placed on the floor. And here, the central act of the wedding takes place. It is a simple, beautiful, and binding gesture. The matchmaker, who has been presiding over the whole affair, takes the corner of your new huapil and the corner of your groom's cloak, and she ties them together in a knot. That's it. That is the moment. No words are spoken, no vows exchanged. Just a simple knot. You are literally and symbolically tied together, bound, united. It is a moment of profound, quiet power. After the knot is tied, the feast begins. This is where the real celebration happens. It is a lavish affair, a testament to the status and generosity of both families. Guests are served plates of turkey simmered in a rich, dark mole sauce, a complex concoction of chilies, nuts, and a hint of bitter chocolate. There are steamed tamales, wrapped in corn husks, and bowls of it all, the rum, sweet corn drink. But the most important beverage of the night is chocolate, not the sweet, milky stuff of the future. This is the real deal. The cacao beans are ground and mixed with water, chilies, and perhaps vanilla or other spices. It's a frothy, bitter, and powerful drink, served cool. It is a luxury, a drink of the elite. And to serve it at a wedding is a sign of great wealth and importance. The Spanish who encounter this drink will be confused by it, some even repulsed, before they think to add sugar and change its destiny forever. Throughout the feast, the elders of both families give long, formal speeches. This is a much admired skill in your culture. They speak in the high-flown, metaphorical language of the court, offering advice to you and your new husband. They will talk about marriage as a partnership, a canoe that must be paddled by both people equally to cross the lake of life. They will warn you to be patient, to be hardworking, to honor each other. Historians will study the surviving texts of these speeches, marveling at their poetic structure and deep wisdom. You listen, head bowed respectfully, the knot at your shoulder a constant. gentle reminder of your new reality. You are no longer a girl. You are a wife. This is your new home, your new family. The laughter and music swirl around you, a warm cocoon of community acceptance. Everything is perfect. Everything is as it should be. The path ahead seems clear and bright, a straight road leading to a happy, productive life. It is a moment of pure, unblemished hope. A hope so bright, it casts no shadows. Not yet. The scent of flowers and copal smoke from the wedding feast eventually fades, replaced by the familiar, earthy smells of your new life. The wood smoke from a new hearth, the damp earth of a different patio, the distinct scent of your husband's sleeping breath beside you on the reed mat. The transition is both jarring and seamless. You are in a new house, surrounded by new people. But the rhythms of your day are much the same. You rise, you grind the maze, you wave. But there is a new, unspoken rhythm now. A silent expectation that hangs in the air, as gentle and as pervasive as the morning mist from the lake. It's in the way your mother-in-law looks at you, a soft, encouraging smile. It's in the jokes your husband's brothers make, small teasers about your future family. It is the hope for a child. Your primary duty as a wife is now clear. Tying the knot was just the beginning. Now you must fulfill the promise of that knot. To produce a new citizen for the state, a new warrior for the sun god, a new pair of hands to work the land. Your womb is no longer just a part of you. It is a vessel of communal hope, a potential cradle for the future of your family's lineage and the empire itself. This pressure is not malicious. It's not a nagging or a judgment. It is simply a fundamental truth of your world. As obvious and necessary as the rising of the sun. A house without the laughter of children is seen as an empty, sad place. A lineage without tears is a tree withering on the vine. Your fertility is a measure of your success, a sign of divine favor. Every month, there is a quiet, internal waiting, a small, private moment of hope, followed by the familiar, gentle resignation when your body signals that, no, not this time. Your mother-in-law, a kind and practical woman, teaches you things. She prepares special teas for you from herbs known to encourage fertility. She instructs you on which days, according to the sacred calendar, are most auspicious for conception. Everything is done to align the physical and the spiritual, to invite a soul into your home. You see other young women in the neighborhood, their bellies beginning to swell. You feel a pang of something you can't quite name. It's not jealousy, not exactly. It's a feeling of being left behind on a journey everyone else has already started. You see the way they are treated, with a new kind of reverence. Their husbands walk a little taller. Their families bustle around them, protecting them, indulging their strange cravings. They are no longer just women. They are vessels of the divine. There are small, superstitious things you are told to do, or more often, not to do. You shouldn't look at a lunar eclipse, for it is said that the moon, being devoured, could cause your child to be born with a similar bite taken out of them, what a later world would call a cleft lip. You are told not to chew chicle, the sticky tree resin that people enjoy, for it is thought to make the baby's gums swell and prevent them from nursing properly. It's a world of unseen connections, where a simple act can have profound consequences. Historians will debate whether these were deep-seated beliefs or simply a way to manage the immense anxiety surrounding pregnancy and childbirth in a world without modern medicine. You visit the shrines with your mother-in-law. You leave offerings of flowers and burn incense to the goddesses of fertility and love. You pray to Quetzal, the flower Quetzal, the goddess of beauty, female power, and childbirth. You also pray to Tezcatlipoca, a more complex and frankly, more intimidating deity. She is the goddess of filth and purification, of sin and absolution. She is the one who can both incite lust and forgive it. She is a goddess of the messy, raw, and powerful aspects of life, and childbirth is certainly one of those. Praying to her is like making a deal with a force of nature. It requires respect, and a little bit of fear. The months turn, the seasons shift. The maize is planted, it grows, it is harvested. The rhythm of the city continues. And still, your cradle remains empty. The pressure does not lessen, but it changes. It becomes quieter, laced with a thread of worry. The smiles from your mother-in-law are still kind, but they are tinged with a subtle concern. The jokes from your husband's family cease. You know the consequences of remaining barren. While divorce is possible in your society, for both men and women, childlessness is one of the most common and accepted reasons for a man to dissolve a marriage. It would not be a punishment, simply a practical reality. He needs an heir. If you cannot provide one, he has the right to seek a wife who can. It would be a deep personal shame for you. A return to your father's house is a failure. And so, you work harder. You weave more beautiful cloth. You grind the finest mussel. You are a perfect, diligent wife in every other way, as if to make up for this one central act. Your life, once so full of simple purpose, is now defined by a void. An empty space at the center of your being, waiting, hoping, praying to be filled. And then, one morning, it changes. It begins not with a grand announcement, but with a subtle shift inside you, a weariness in your bones that the morning's work cannot shake, a new tenderness in your breasts. And then, the unmistakable sign. The monthly rhythm that has governed your life for years simply stops. You wait. You hold the secret in your heart for a few days, a fragile, fluttering thing. You don't dare to give it a voice, for fear it might disappear. But the weariness deepens, and a new sensation begins. A queasiness in the morning that is both unpleasant and deeply, profoundly welcome. You tell your husband first. In the quiet darkness of your sleeping mat, you whisper the words, and you can feel the stillness in him. The way his breathing stops for a moment before he pulls you close. The next morning, you tell your mother-in-law. Her reaction is immediate and overwhelming. The gentle concern that had shadowed her face for months vanishes, replaced by a radiant, unadulterated joy. She lets out a cry of delight, her hands fluttering to her face. She embraces you, not as a daughter-in-law, but as the savior of her family line. The news spreads through the house like a welcome fire, then out into the neighborhood, carried on the wind of gossip and goodwill. Suddenly, you are no longer just you. You are a vessel. You are a sacred duty in progress. Your status in the family, and in the community, transforms overnight. You are to be protected, cherished, honored. You are no longer expected to do the heaviest work. Your younger sister-in-law now takes your place at the grinding stone without a word of complaint. You are given the choicest morsels of food at every meal. If you express a passing desire for a particular fruit from the market, someone is dispatched immediately to find it. The world around you seems to conspire in this celebration. It is as if the gods themselves are smiling on your family. To be pregnant is to be blessed. It is proof that you are in harmony with the cosmos, that the deities of fertility have looked upon you with favor. Your body is no longer just your own. It is a public project, a source of communal pride. Your family holds a feast, not as grand as the wedding, but full of heartfelt joy. Relatives arrive again, this time with different kinds of gifts. Small, beautifully woven blankets, tiny clay rattles. They congratulate your husband as if he has won a great victory. And in a way, he has. He has ensured his name will continue. He has done his part. A priest is consulted again, but for a different reason. He is not checking compatibility now. He is looking for portents about the child's future. He studies the date of conception and makes predictions. Will it be a boy, destined for the battlefield, or a girl, destined for the loo? Will they be born under a sign of good fortune, like reed, associated with wealth and longevity, or a less favorable sign, like wind, which could suggest a fickle or untrustworthy nature? The community hangs on his words, planning a future for a person who is still just a tiny seed tucked deep inside you. You are at the center of this whirlwind of joy and ritual, and it is wonderful. The anxiety that had been your constant companion for months dissolved, replaced by a deep, glowing sense of purpose. You have done it. You have fulfilled your most profound duty. You walk through the market and feel the respectful gazes of others. Women smile at you knowingly. Men nod in deference. You are the embodiment of hope. But there is a strange and fascinating detail in the way your people talk about this. The word for pregnancy, in the formal Nahuatl language, is the same word used to describe a god impersonator being prepared for sacrifice. These were individuals chosen to live as a god for a period of time, dressed in their regalia, worshipped, and honored, before being ritually killed. Some historians believe this linguistic link is deeply significant. It suggests that from the very beginning, a pregnant woman was seen as someone set apart, someone being prepared for a sacred, and potentially fatal, ritual. Someone whose body was being fattened and readied not just for life-giving, but for a potential encounter with death. For now, though, such dark thoughts are rolled away. You are floating on a sea of approval and happiness. You touch your still flat stomach 100 times a day, a gesture of awe and disbelief. You are creating life. You are a partner with the gods. What could possibly be more beautiful or more blessed than that? You have been given the greatest gift in the world, and you have no idea what it might ask of you in return. With the joy comes the rules. So many rules. Your life, once your own, is now managed by a new and formidable authority, the midwife. She is not just a woman who helps deliver babies. She is a respected professional, a priestess of the body. Her title is Temlatuptaltich, and she is summoned as soon as your pregnancy is confirmed. She is usually an older woman, her face a roadmap of wrinkles and wisdom, her hands gnarled but surprisingly gentle. She has seen it all. The easy births, the difficult ones, the joyous and the tragic. She is a physician, a therapist, and a spiritual guide, all rolled into one. She arrives at your home not as a guest, but as a commander taking charge of a vital campaign. From this day forward, she will be a constant presence in your life. She will visit regularly, her sharp eyes missing nothing. She's now the guardian of your womb. Her first act is to give you a long, formal speech. It's another example of that high-flown, metaphorical language your people love. She will welcome you to the battle. She will call you her brave little daughter. She will speak of the child inside you as a precious jewel, a beautiful feather that has been entrusted to your care by the gods. She will lay out your duties with the seriousness of a general outlining a plan of attack. And then come the prohibitions. A seemingly endless list of things you must not do. You must not get angry or upset, your negative emotions, she explains, can harm the baby, making it sick or weak. You must avoid all passionate feelings. Your household is now instructed to maintain a state of constant, placid calm for your benefit. You must not look at anything red. The color is too strong, too hot, and could cause the baby to be born with some kind of imbalance. You are also warned not to stand too close to the fire for the same reason. You must not overeat, lest the baby grow too large, making the battle more difficult. But you must not undereat, either, for the little captive needs its strength. The midwife herself will often prescribe your diet, a careful balance of nourishing foods. At night, you must not go outside alone or look at the moon. The night air is full of unpredictable spirits, and the moon, as you already know, is a dangerous celestial body for the unborn. You must not sleep during the day. This is a fascinating one. The belief is that if you do, the baby's nose will get squashed, and it will be born with a wide, flat face. Some of the rules are more practical. She will show you how to massage your growing belly with warm oils, a practice to keep the skin supple and perhaps to help position the baby correctly. She will teach you specific exercises, gentle stretches designed to prepare your body for the ordeal ahead. And then there are the rules for your husband. He too is part of this. He is forbidden from participating in certain rituals or crafts. If he is a woodcarver, for instance, he might be told to stop his work, as the act of splitting or carving could magically affect the baby in the womb. He must also be extra careful in his daily life, as any fright or accident he experiences could be psychically transmitted to you and the child. The entire family is now enlisted in this protective bubble. The midwife is also your confidant. You can tell her your fears, your aches and pains. She has an herbal remedy for everything. For morning sickness, she might prescribe a specific kind of mint tea. For backaches, a poultice of crushed leaves. This is not folk magic. It is a deep and sophisticated understanding of botany. Your people possessed a vast pharmacopoeia, a botanical knowledge that would astound the first European physicians who encountered it. Many of the plants they used are still recognized for their medicinal properties today. But where did this incredibly detailed system of prenatal care come from? Historians are divided. Some see it as a beautiful, holistic approach to pregnancy, a way of centering and protecting the mother, of making her feel cherished and secure. Others see it as a system of intense social control, a way of taking the most unpredictable and dangerous event in a woman's life, childbirth, and trying to tame it with ritual and regulation, by making the woman responsible for so many things, from her diet to her emotions. Did it also create a system where, if something went wrong, it could be seen as her fault? Did she break a rule? Did she sleep during the day? It's a question that hangs over the meticulous, loving care she provides. For you, the midwife is a source of immense comfort. She is the keeper of the sacred knowledge. In a world full of unseen dangers and unpredictable gods, she is your shield. Her rules are not a burden. They are a roadmap to a safe delivery. You follow them to the letter. You are a model patient, a diligent soldier. You will do everything in your power to protect the precious jewel inside you. You place your absolute faith in her wisdom. After all, her job is to bring you safely through the battle. Her job is to ensure that you win. The months pass in this new, cocooned reality. Your body, once a familiar landscape, begins to transform into a strange and wondrous new country. Your belly, at first a gentle swell, rises into a proud, taut dome. It becomes the new center of your gravity, the sun around which your entire life now orbits. You have to learn to walk again, to sit, to sleep, all around this new and demanding presence. It is a public marvel when you walk through the market, on a necessary errand, and always accompanied. People make way for you. Strangers smile. Your pregnant form is a symbol of hope, of continuity. Your body is celebrated for its ripeness, its magnificent fertility. In your culture, a full-figured, childbearing body is the ideal of female beauty. It is a sign of health, wealth, and divine favor. You are living art, a walking testament to the life-giving power of your people. And yet, in the quiet moments, in the darkness of the night when the city is asleep, you feel a different truth. This celebrated body is no longer entirely your own. It has been commandeered for a purpose greater than yourself. It is a vessel, and you are its caretaker. You feel the first fluttering S of life inside you, a soft, ghostly tickle, like a feather being dragged across your insides. It's a moment of pure, breathtaking magic. You lie perfectly still, waiting for it to happen again. In the coming weeks, the flutters become kicks, pulls, in slow, rolling movements. It is an incredible, intimate conversation with a person you have not yet met. You can feel a heel press against your ribs, an elbow jab your bladder. The baby has a life of its own, a rhythm of sleeping and waking that has nothing to do with yours. This new life is a source of profound joy, but also a constant, physical reminder of your confinement. You are a garden in which a precious seed is growing, but a garden is, by its nature, enclosed, fenced in. You can no longer move with the easy freedom you once took for granted. Bending over to tie a sandal is a feat of engineering. Rising from your sleeping mat requires a multi-stage maneuver. You feel heavy, clumsy, and perpetually short of breath as the baby presses up against your lungs. There's a subtle but persistent discomfort. Your back aches. Your ankles swell. You are always tired. These are the small, unglamorous truths of pregnancy that are not spoken of in the formal, poetic speeches. They are simply endured. This feeling of being a beautiful, sacred prison is a concept that will resonate through the ages. But for you, it is deeply literal. Your world has shrunk to the size of your home. Your patio, the short, supervised walks to the shrine. Your body, the very thing being celebrated, has become your cage. A glorious, revered, and deeply loved cage. But a cage nonetheless. And there's a flicker of a new emotion, one that you are not supposed to have, one that you would never dare to speak aloud. A flicker of fear. You see the women in your community. You see the mothers with their children. And you see the families where a mother is absent. You know, in a distant, abstract way, that not every woman who enters the battle of childbirth comes back. Childbirth is a part of life, but it is also a gateway to death. Every family has a story of an aunt, a cousin, a sister who was captured by the enemy. This fear is a stray thought, a shadow at the edge of your vision that you quickly push away. The midwife has forbidden you from having such negative thoughts. Your job is to be calm, to be hopeful, to be a placid vessel for the new life. To acknowledge the fear would be to give it power. It would be a betrayal of the community's faith in you. It would be, in a way, a failure. And so you focus on the kicks, on the tiny, miraculous life inside you. You focus on the loving care of your family, the wisdom of the midwife. You push the fear down, deep into a corner of your mind where it can't be seen. Historians will later debate the psychological state of women in your position, surrounded by celebration, but facing one of the most dangerous physical ordeals a human can endure without modern medical intervention. Was it a state of blissful ignorance, of pure faith in the system, or was it a masterpiece of psychological suppression? A culturally enforced denial of a very real and present danger. We can never know. We can only imagine you, in the quiet of the night, with one hand on your swelling belly, feeling the miracle of the life within, and the other hand unconsciously pressed against your own rapidly beating heart, feeling the fragile, temporary nature of your own. You are a temple, built to house a god. But all temples, no matter how beautiful, can fall. The vocabulary of your pregnancy begins to subtly shift as the final weeks approach. The gentle, flowery metaphors of precious jewels and beautiful feathers are still used. But a new, more urgent language starts to creep into conversations. It begins at the market, during one of your short, chaperoned outings. You are examining a pile of ripe, red tomatoes when you overhear two older women talking. They are not talking to you, but their words are loud enough to be caught, perhaps intentionally. One of them asks the other about her daughter, who is also expecting. The other woman shakes her head, a worried look on her face. The battle will be soon, she says, her voice slow. We pray she will be a brave warrior. Battle, warrior. The words land with a thud in your placid, protected world. You have heard the midwife use the term battle in her formal speeches, but it felt like a metaphor, a poetic flourish. Hearing it used in this casual, practical way at the market makes it suddenly, shockingly real. It is not just a pretty speech. They actually mean it. You start to hear it more often. Your father-in-law, a quiet man who rarely speaks to you directly, pats your husband on the shoulder one evening and says, "Soon your wife will go to war for you. You must be strong for her." Your aunties, visiting with gifts of soft cotton for the baby, speak in hushed tones about another young woman in a different part of the city. She fought for 2 days. One of them whispers, "A difficult capture." Capture. The word sends a chill down your spine. Capture is what happens to enemy warriors on the battlefield. They are taken prisoner, their lives now belonging to the state. their fate to be decided by the priests. What does it mean to be captured in childbirth? You begin to pay more attention to the stories told about men returning from war. They are celebrated as heroes, especially those who have taken a captive. A warrior who captures his first prisoner earns the right to a new hairstyle and a special cloak. He has proven his valor. He has fulfilled his purpose. He has brought back a body to be used for the sacred rituals that feed the gods and keep the sun rising. His success is measured by the life he has taken into his power. And slowly, terrifyingly, you begin to connect the dots. The language used for your sacred, life-giving act is the exact same language used for the violent, life-taking act of war. This is not a coincidence. It is a deeply ingrained part of your cultural worldview, something so fundamental that no one has ever had to explain it to you directly before. It was just assumed you understood. A man's war is fought on the plains beyond the city, with obsidian-bladed clubs and feathered shields. A woman's war is fought in the confines of her home, on a reed mat, with her own body as the weapon and the battlefield. His goal is to capture an enemy. Your goal is to capture a new soul for the Empire, to bring a baby out of the spiritual realm and into the physical world. The baby is, in this sense, your captive. If you succeed, you are a hero, just like the victorious warrior. You have brought a prize to your family and your community. But every battle has two possible outcomes, victory or defeat. And if the male warrior can be captured by the enemy, then so, it seems, can you. This realization dawns on you not in a single flash, but in a slow, dawning horror. The fear you had been so carefully suppressing begins to stir. The midwife's rules, the family's protection, the cheerful optimism. It all suddenly feels like a warrior's pre-battle preparations. The sharpening of blades, the painting of faces, the prayers to the gods, all of it is designed to ensure victory. But none of it can guarantee it. Why was this parallel so central to your culture? Future anthropologists will have many theories. Perhaps it was a way to elevate the status of women and the importance of childbirth, equating it with the most honored male activity by calling a woman a warrior. It gave her and her dangerous work immense prestige. But perhaps it was something more practical, a way of psychologically preparing a woman for an experience that was, for all intents and purposes, a battle for survival. It framed the pain and terror not as a medical emergency, but as a noble struggle. There's even a more fringe theory that some scholars will whisper about, that this war metaphor was a form of social contract. It implied that a woman's life was also forfeit to the state, just like a man's. He was expected to die in battle if necessary. She was expected to die in childbirth if necessary. Both were sacrifices for the greater good of the Empire. You don't know about any of that. All you know is that the soft, beautiful cocoon that has been woven around you for months suddenly feels thin and fragile. The world is no longer divided into the safe, domestic sphere of women and the dangerous, public sphere of men. The danger was here all along, hiding in plain sight, disguised in the language of honor and praise. You are not just growing a baby. You are preparing for war, and you are the only soldier on your side of the field. The metaphor is no longer a secret. It is now brought out into the open, a formal and final piece of your education. The midwife sits with you one afternoon, the air heavy and still. Her tone is different today. The gentle, encouraging platitudes are gone, replaced by a solemn gravity. It is time, she says, for you to truly understand the nature of your duty. She looks you in the eye. Giving birth, she says, her voice steady and clear, is your battle. It is your sacred combat. It is how you serve the sun. She explains it to you not as poetry, but as a natural truth. When a man goes to war, he seeks to capture an enemy. His success is measured by the number of captives he brings back. These captives are vital to the state. Their bodies fuel the most important rituals, ensuring the cosmic balance is maintained. Yoshi continues, placing a firm, dry hand on your swollen belly. Are also a warrior. But your battlefield is here. Your enemy is not a man from a rival city. Your enemy is the threshold between worlds, and your captive. She pauses, letting the weight of the word sink in. Is the new citizen waiting to be born. This, she explains, is your one and only opportunity to capture a prisoner. A man may go too many battles in his lifetime. He has many chances to prove his valor. You have only this. The child is your trophy. Its first cry is your victory shout. If you are successful, she tells you, your honor will be immense. You will have done for your family and your city what a great warrior does on the field of battle. You will be celebrated. You will have fulfilled your highest purpose as a woman. You will have brought a new taxpayer, a new farmer, a new weaver, or if you are truly blessed, a new warrior into the world. You will have strengthened the empire from within. The logic is stark, brutal, and in its own way, completely sensible within the framework of your world. It is about acquisition. The state means bodies. Men acquire them through war. Women acquire them through birth. They are two sides of the same coin. The twin pillars supporting the entire structure of your society. You listen, your hands resting on the great dome of your belly, feeling the powerful kicks and rolls of the captive within. It is a strange and unsettling feeling. To think of this beloved, long-awaited child as a prisoner you must capture. But you push the strangeness away. This is the way of things. This is your path to honor. The midwife then tells you of the possible outcomes, just as a captain would brief his soldiers. If you capture your prisoner, she says, you will be a hero. Your family will rejoice. The gods will be pleased. She leans a little closer, and her voice drops. But the battle is perilous. Sometimes, the warrior is captured by the enemy. And what happens then? You want to ask, but the words catch in your throat. You are almost afraid to hear the answer. She seems to read your mind. If you should fall, she says, her voice softening with a deep, ancient sadness. If you are captured on your battlefield, your glory is no less. You will not have failed. You will have died a warrior's death. It is the most honorable death a woman can have. An honorable death. The words hang in the air between you. It is the same honor afforded to a man who dies in combat, or a person who is sacrificed on the high pyramid. It is a death that has meaning, a death that serves the gods. This idea, that death in childbirth was a form of glorious sacrifice, is one of the most unique and debated aspects of your culture and many other societies. Throughout history, the death of a mother in childbirth was seen primarily as a tragedy, a domestic disaster, a private sorrow. For your people, it was a public event of spiritual significance. It was a form of martyrdom. Why? The theories are many. Some scholars argue it was a necessary psychological mechanism. In a world where maternal mortality was terrifyingly high, this belief transformed a frequent tragedy into a noble apotheosis. It gave meaning to the meaningless. It gave honor to the horrible. It assured grieving families that their daughter, their wife, their sister had not just died. She had ascended. Others see a more cynical political angle by framing childbirth as a potentially fatal, state-sanctioned act of war. It encouraged women to continue having children despite the immense risks. It was a piece of powerful propaganda that ensured the population would continue to grow, feeding the empire's constant need for more people. The midwife does not speak of these things. She speaks only of honor and duty. She tells you to be brave. She tells you that the gods are watching. She tells you to prepare your spirit for the fight. When she leaves, the house feels quieter, larger. The weight of your new knowledge settles upon you. You are a warrior. This is your more. And the stakes are not just your own life, but your honor in the afterlife. The path ahead has four. One way leads to the joyful cries of a captured baby. The other leads to a glorious death. There is no third option. You are standing at the edge of your battlefield, and you can hear the drums begin to beat. With your new understanding, the world around you starts to look different. The familiar streets, the temples, the market, they are all now viewed through this new, darker lens of battle and sacrifice. And one day, you see them, really see them for the first time. You are walking with your mother-in-law to a small, local shrine at the crossroads of two canals. It's not one of the grand pyramids in the central precinct. It's a humble place. A small stone platform dedicated to the gods of the earth and fertility. It's a place women often visit to leave offerings of flowers or ears of corn. You've been here dozens of times. But today, your eyes are drawn to a set of stone carvings set into the base of the shrine, half hidden by overgrown flowers. You've glanced at them before, of course, but you never truly registered them. They were just part of the visual noise of the city, the endless carvings of gods and monsters. Now you stop. You stare. They are figures of women, but they are terrifying. Their faces are skeletal, just bone and empty eye sockets, with a tight, lipless grin. Their hair is wild and unkempt, a tangled mess. Their breasts are bare and shrunken, and their hands are not hands at all. They are claws, hooked and menacing, poised as if to snatch or strike, around their waists. They wear skirts made of writhing serpents. They are frozen in aggressive, almost frantic postures. One kneels, leaning forward, her clawed hands outstretched. Another seems to be screaming, her bony jaw wide open. They are figures of pure, unadulterated menace. Your mother-in-law sees you looking. She makes a small, protective gesture, touching the amulet around her neck. The CIH tail. She whispers, the name is familiar. You've heard it in passing, in scary stories told to children to make them behave, but you never connected them to anything real. Who are they, you ask? Your voice barely audible. They are the divine women, your mother-in-law says, her voice full of a strange mixture of reverence and fear. The goddesses. Goddesses. These skeletal, horrifying creatures are goddesses. They look more like demons. They are the spirits of women who died in childbirth, she explains, pulling you gently away from the shrine, as if looking too long might be dangerous. The ones who fell in battle, the brave warriors. The pieces click into place with a sickening finality. This is it. This is the honor the midwife spoke of. This is what happens if you are captured on your battlefield. You don't go to a peaceful paradise. You don't trust. You are reborn into this. A skeletal, four-handed monster. These statues are some of the most powerful and unsettling artifacts to survive your civilization. Future art historians will be captivated by them. They will note the strange combination of divine symbols. The goddesses' headbands, the formal posture of some of the figures, with imagery of horror and decay. They will see the tension between the honorific title, divine women, and their monstrous appearance. What did these figures truly represent to your people? The academic debate will be fierce. One school of thought will argue that they were genuinely honored figures, that the skeletal imagery was not about horror, but about power. Skulls and bones were potent symbols of death and rebirth, connected to the gods of the underworld and creation. The CIH tail were not monsters. They were powerful, formidable spirits who had earned their fearsome appearance through their sacrifice. They were the female equivalent of the greatest male warriors, and their terrifying form was a badge of honor. But another school of thought will see something much darker. They will argue that the CIH tail represented deep cultural ambivalence, even a misogyny, towards female power. They'll point out that a woman, in her most uniquely female act of creation, is transformed into a sterile, terrifying, anti-maternal figure. Her life-giving womb is replaced by a skeletal frame. Her nurturing hands become predatory claws. It suggests, they will argue, that a woman who fails in her primary biological duty, to successfully give birth, is punished by being twisted into its monstrous opposite. She becomes a warning, a bogeyman. As you stand there, a few feet from the stone carvings, you don't think about any of these academic interpretations. You feel it in your gut. The raw, primal fear. These are not heroes. These are nightmares carved in stone. The idea of a glorious death in battle suddenly seems like a cruel joke. The honor, the praise, the promise of becoming a divine woman. It all evaporates in the face of this horrifying reality. The bargain being offered to you is this: succeed in your battle and you get to live, to raise your child. Fail, and you become a monster that frightens children and makes grown women clutch their amulets in fear. You allow your mother-in-law to lead you away. You don't look back. But the image is burned into your mind. The empty eye sockets, the lipless grin, the claws. The fear you have been suppressing for so long can no longer be contained. It washes over you, cold and absolute. You are walking towards a battle where the price of losing is not a peaceful end, but an eternity is a thing of horror. You are no longer just afraid of dying. You are afraid of what comes after. The fear plants a seed of dark curiosity in your mind. You start to listen more carefully to the whispers, the folklore, the stories told when the sun goes down. You want to know more about these Chihwe, these skeletal goddesses you are now terrified you might become, and in your quest for knowledge, you learn about the days when they are most feared, the 5 unlucky days. Your calendar is a marvel of precision, a complex and beautiful machine for measuring time. It has a 365-day solar cycle. The Zufa, which governs the agricultural seasons. This calendar is made up of 18 months of 20 days each. Simple math tells you that 18 times 20 is 360. This leaves 5 leftover days at the end of the year. These are the Nemontimi. They are the days that don't belong. They are outside the normal count, a seam in the fabric of time. They are considered profoundly unlucky, a dangerous, liminal space when the ordered world of humans and the chaotic world of spirits can bleed into one another. During the Nemontimi, normal life grinds to a halt. No one undertakes any important business. No one starts a journey. No one gets married. People speak in hushed tones and avoid quarreling, as a harsh word spoken on these days is thought to have lasting, terrible consequences. It's a time of collective anxiety, of holding your breath and waiting for the world to become normal again. You are supposed to stay home, stay quiet, and do as little as possible. It is a time for fasting and penance. These 5 days are when the barriers between the worlds are at their thinnest, and it is on these days you learn that malevolent spirits are most likely to wander the earth, and among the most feared of these wandering spirits are the Chihwe. You learn this from an old woman who lives down the canal, a woman known for her knowledge of charms and portents. You ask her, feigning a casual curiosity, about the skeletal goddesses. She tells you that on 5 specific days of the sacred 260-day calendar, days that always have the number 1, like 1 deer or 1 rain, the Chihwe are given permission to descend to the earth. These are their special feast days, and if one of those days happens to fall during the Nemontimi, the danger is magnified tenfold. On these days, they come down to the crossroads. Crossroads are powerful, dangerous places in your cosmology. Just as they are in many cultures around the world, they are places of uncertainty, of decision, where paths diverge. They are in-between places, belonging to no one, and are therefore susceptible to supernatural influence. And what do they do at these crossroads? They hunt them, they wait, their particular targets. The old woman tells you, are children. They are said to snatch them, to steal them away. They also inflict diseases and madness upon those who are unlucky enough to encounter them. They can cause seizures, paralysis, and fits of insanity with just a glance. The irony is so cruel it is almost breathtaking. A woman whose entire being is now focused on bringing a child into the world could be transformed upon death into a being whose sole purpose is to steal children. The life-giver becomes the child snatcher. The nurturing mother becomes the source of madness and disease. It is a perfect, horrifying inversion. The existence of unlucky days is not unique to your culture. Of course, Many ancient civilizations had similar concepts. Times when the normal rules of the cosmos were suspended. The Romans had their unlucky days when temples were closed and no public business was conducted. The ancient Egyptians had similar beliefs tied to their mythology. But your people's concept of venimante me seems particularly intense. A period of genuine, widespread dread. Historians will debate the social function of venimante me. Some will see it as a necessary pressure valve, a way for a highly ordered and ritualized society to acknowledge the existence of chaos and absurdity. It was a yearly reminder that the cosmos was not entirely under human control. Others will see it as a tool for social cohesion, a time when the entire community shared a common experience of anxiety and vulnerability, reinforcing their mutual dependence, and the specific connection between the CIH weight tale and these unlucky days. It is a masterpiece of psychological terror. It links the very real, personal fear of death in childbirth to a larger, cosmic, and annually recurring fear. It means that even if a woman dies honorably, her terrifying spirit is not at rest. It is a restless, malevolent force that is periodically unleashed upon the world she left behind. Her family would have to live with the knowledge that on certain days of the year, their own divine daughter or wife was now a public menace, a thing to be feared and avoided by the very people who once loved her. You try to calculate the days. When will the next one rain or one deer fall? Will it be during the venimante me? You try to imagine it. The city hushed and fearful, the shadows at the crossroads seeming to deepen. And you, or a version of you, a skeletal thing with claws, descending from the western sky, your lipless mouth open in a silent scream, looking for a child to steal. The knowledge is a poison. It seeps into your thoughts, turning your hype into a kind of desperate dread. You are no longer just fighting for your own life. You are fighting not to become a monster. In the midst of this rising tide of existential dread, a new and very earthy reality asserts itself. You develop a craving. It's not for the sweet, ripe mangoes in the market, or for the rich turkey mole your mother-in-law prepares. It's something much stranger. You find yourself consumed by a powerful, almost overwhelming desire to eat dirt. Not just any dirt from the patio. It's a specific craving for the smooth, pale, checky clay that your father-in-law, the potter, uses for making certain kinds of fine ceramics. You see it stored in his workshop, and the sight of it, the thought of its cool, earthy texture in your mouth, makes your saliva run. You try to ignore it. It's bizarre. It's shameful. But the craving is relentless. It haunts your waking thoughts and even your dreams. Finally, one day, unable to bear it any longer, you confess your strange desire to the midwife during one of her visits. You expect her to be shocked, or to scold you for having such an unnatural urge. Instead, she simply nods, a knowing look in her eyes. Oh, she says, the earth is calling to its own. She is not surprised at all. The practice of eating earth, or jipahadi, is not only known in your culture, but is surprisingly common, especially among pregnant women. The midwife explains that this is a sign that the baby inside you needs more earth element, more substance, more solidity. She doesn't just permit it. She prescribes it. She goes to your father-in-law's workshop and selects a specific type of clay. It's not the coarse, gritty stuff used for everyday pots, but a fine, clean, whitish clay harvested from a particular riverbed known for its purity. She tells you this specific clay is good for settling the stomach and providing strength to the growing child. She then prepares it for you, sometimes mixing it with a bit of water to make a paste, or baking it into small, brittle wafers that you can nibble on. The first taste is strange, but also deeply, primal, satisfying. The cool, tacky texture dissolves on your tongue, fulfilling a need you didn't even know you had. It becomes your secret treat, a small, strange comfort in a world that is becoming increasingly terrifying. This practice, the deliberate eating of earth, will fascinate and often mystify future anthropologists and medical historians. It is a nearly universal human behavior, documented on every continent and throughout history, but the reasons for it are hotly debated. The modern scientific view will suggest that it's often driven by nutritional deficiencies. Clays can be rich in minerals like iron, zinc, and calcium, nutrients that a pregnant woman's body desperately needs and might not be getting enough of from her regular diet. Clay also has detoxifying properties. It can bind with certain toxins and pathogens in the gut, soothing an upset stomach and protecting both mother and child from foodborne illnesses. Your midwife's assertion that it settles the stomach is, in this light, medically accurate. But another school of thought will argue that it's not just about nutrition. It's a deeply symbolic, cultural practice. Eating the earth is a way of physically connecting with the land, with the source of all life. For a pregnant woman, it is a way of incorporating the very substance of the Earth Mother into her own body, of drawing on its strength and stability for the creative act ahead. It's a physical prayer, a form of communion. In your culture, of course, there is no separation between these two ideas. The clay is medicinal because it is sacred. It provides physical nutrients because it is a piece of the divine earth. The practical and the spiritual are one and the same. But there is a strange and sad little footnote to this practice. The Spanish friars who will later document your customs will be horrified by Haiti. They will see it as a barbaric, pagan act. One friar, Bernardino de Sahagun, who compiled a massive encyclopedia of your culture, will write about it with disgust. He will claim that women who ate earth gave birth to weak, sickly children, and that the practice was a sign of their moral and physical corruption. He saw it as proof of their inherent uncleanliness. It is a classic example of cultural misunderstanding, of a colonizing power viewing a complex local custom through a lens of prejudice and declaring it deviant. They saw dirt. You tasted a sacred, healing medicine. So you nibble on your clay wafers, a practice both sanctioned and secret. It is a small, grounding ritual in your increasingly ungrounded world. As you consume the litter on earth, you can't help but think of the cruel duality of it all. Your body is being nourished by the earth, preparing to create life from it. And yet, if you fail, your own flesh will be stripped away, leaving you a creature of dry bone, forever denied the nurturing embrace of the very soul you now crave. The earth gives, and the earth takes away. You are learning this lesson in the most intimate way imaginable. As your time grows nearer, the midwife decides you are ready for a more powerful ritual of preparation. It is time for you to enter the TMAC cowl, the sweat lodge. The TMAC cowl is a small, dome-shaped structure, usually made of adobe or volcanic stone. It looks like a small, earthen wound sitting in a quiet corner of your family's compound. The entrance is low and narrow, forcing you to crawl inside. A symbolic act of humility and rebirth. This is not a place for casual bathing. It is a sacred space, a place for physical and spiritual purification. The ritual is led by the midwife, who is also the TMA's Ecolera, the keeper of the sweat lodge. She prepares the space with great care, burning copal and sage to cleanse the air of any negative influences. In the center of the lodge is a pit, and next to the lodge outside is a large fire where volcanic stones have been heating for hours until they glow a deep, menacing red. You are nervous. The idea of entering a small, dark, intensely hot space is intimidating, but the midwife is calm and reassuring. She explains that the TMA's cow is a gift from the goddess to Ci, the grandmother of the gods, a powerful earth deity. Inside, she says, you will be held in the belly of the grandmother, and the heat will sweat out your fears, your impurities, and any sickness that might be lingering in your body. With the help of your mother-in-law, you crawl through the low doorway into the pitch-black interior. The air is cool and still. You sit on a reed mat on the earthen floor. A moment later, the midwife's assistant, using deer antlers, carries the first of the glowing red stones from the fire and places it carefully in the central pit. The stone sizzles and cracks, a living thing in the darkness. More stones are brought in until the pit is full, and the small space begins to pulse with a dry, intense heat. Then, the midwife seals the doorway, plunging you into absolute darkness. For a moment, there is only the sound of your own breathing and the radiant heat from the stones. Then, she begins to chant, her voice slow and rhythmic. She throws a bucket of water infused with herbs, rosemary, chamomile, eucalyptus, onto the hot stones. The effect is instantaneous and violent. A massive cloud of steam erupts with a loud hiss, filling the small dome. The air, once dry, becomes thick, wet, and almost unbreathably hot. It feels like you are inhaling fire. Your body reacts instantly, sweat pouring from every pore. The midwife's chanting continues, a steady rhythm in the roaring darkness. She sings to the four directions, to the Earth Mother, to the goddesses of water and childbirth. She asks them to protect you, to make you strong, to open your body for the coming trial. Your senses are overwhelmed. The intense heat, the thick steam, the smell of herbs, the darkness, the rhythmic chanting, it all combines to create a powerful, disorienting effect. The boundaries of your own body begin to feel porous, indistinct. The barrier between the physical world and the spiritual world feels thin, almost non-existent. You begin to see things in the swirling darkness behind your eyelids, flashes of color, strange patterns. You feel a sense of emotional release. The fear and anxiety you've been holding onto for weeks beginning to melt away in the heat, pouring out of you with your sweat. You feel yourself weeping, not from sadness, but from a profound sense of catharsis. The sweat lodge was a cornerstone of medicine and religion across Mesoamerica. It wasn't just for pregnant women. Warriors used it to purify themselves after battle. Priests used it for vision quests. It was used to treat a wide range of ailments, from fevers to skin problems to rheumatism. The Spanish, upon their arrival, were deeply suspicious of the TMAZ cowl. They saw it as a place of pagan ritual, and they were particularly scandalized by the fact that men and women sometimes used it together. They systematically destroyed many of the sweat lodges they found, viewing them as a threat to Christian morality. They saw a dark, hot room of naked people. You experienced a sacred, healing sacrament. The debate among future scholars will focus on its true function. Was it primarily a hygiene practice? A kind of ancient sauna? Was it a medical tool, using heat therapy to treat illness? Or was it a primarily spiritual device, a technology for inducing altered states of consciousness? The answer, as is so often the case with your culture, is that it was all of these things at once. There was no division. To cleanse the body was to cleanse the soul. Inside the dome, you lose all track of time. It could be minutes. It could be hours. The midwife guides you, telling you when to drink water, encouraging you to let go of your fear. She speaks of your body opening up, like a flower in the sun. The heat is almost unbearable, but just when you feel you can't take any more, she opens the flap for a moment, letting in a sliver of cool air before sealing it again for another round. Finally, the ritual is over. The flap is opened for good, and you crawl out into the cool evening air. Gasping, you feel completely spent, as if you've been remade. Your skin is clean and pink. Your limbs feel loose and heavy, and your mind is strangely, wondrously quiet. The gnawing fear has been replaced by a deep sense of peace, a feeling of weary strength. You have faced the fire and come out the other side. You have been purified. You have been blessed. You have been held in the belly of the goddess. You feel ready. The sweat lodge has done its work. It has baked the fear out of you, leaving only a quiet, resolute calm. You are a warrior who has completed her final rite of purification. Now, all that is left is the battle itself. In the calm aftermath of the sweat lodge, life settles into a state of quiet anticipation. The days are slow, thick with waiting, and in this charged atmosphere, a small, Mundane accident is transformed into a terrifying omen. You are sitting on the patio, in the cool of the late afternoon, doing a bit of light work. You are not weaving on the great loom anymore. That requires too much leaning and straining. Instead, you are spinning cotton. You hold a bundle of soft, white fibers in one hand, and with the other, you whirl a thin wooden spindle. The spindle has a small, baked clay disc at its base called a spindle whorl. This acts as a flywheel, its weight giving the spindle the momentum it needs to spin smoothly and twist the fibers into a strong, even thread. You have done this thousands of times. It is a motion as natural to you as breathing. The spindle dances in your fingers, a blur of motion, drawing out the thread. But today, your fingers are clumsy, or perhaps your mind is just elsewhere. The spindle slips from your grasp. It falls to the stone patio not with a clatter, but with a sharp, sickening crack. You look down, the clay spindle whirl, the smooth, heavy disc that makes the whole process possible, has broken into silence. Your mother-in-law, who was shelling beans nearby, gasps. She drops the beans and rushes over, her face a mask of horror. She stares at the two pieces of clay as if they were a dead serpent. To an outsider, this is a minor inconvenience, a broken tool. You could get another one from the market for a few coins, but in your world, in this moment, it is not a broken tool, it is a sign. Objects are not just objects. They have a life, a spirit, a connection to the tasks they perform. The spindle whorl is a quintessentially female tool. It is a symbol of creation, of spinning fiber into thread, of making something useful and beautiful out of raw material. For it to break, especially in the hands of a heavily pregnant woman, is a catastrophic omen. It is seen as a sign that the thread of life is in jeopardy. It suggests a breaking in the creative process. It hints that the child you are spinning within your own body might also be broken, or that the connection between you and the child might be severed. It is a direct, terrifying message from the world of spirits. The calm that the TM Ezekiel gave you shatters into 1,000 pieces. The fear comes rushing back, colder and sharper than before. The reaction from your family is immediate and intense. The broken pieces are not just swept away, they are carefully gathered up, as if they were dangerous relics. The midwife is summoned at once. She arrives and inspects the pieces, her face grim. She does not dismiss your fears, she confirms them. This is a serious portent. She agrees. The spirits are unsettled. Something has disturbed the harmonious flow of creation. Now the protective rituals that have surrounded you are doubled, tripled in their intensity. Your world shrinks even further. You are no longer allowed to walk to the local shrine. You are confined almost entirely to your room. The midwife visits every day, checking on you, massaging your belly, chanting prayers of protection. Copal incense now burns day and night in your home. It's thick, sacred smoke intended to ward off any malevolent spirits that might have been drawn by the omen. Your husband is given a special amulet to wear, a piece of carved jade, to protect him and, by extension, you and the child. Offerings are made at multiple temples. Your family is spending a small fortune on flowers, birds, and other gifts for the gods, trying to appease whatever force was angered. This belief in omens, or tetsuit, was a powerful force in your society. The world was constantly speaking to people, sending messages through the natural and man-made world. An owl hooting at the wrong time of day, a snake crossing your path, a strange cloud formation. These were not random events. They were communications from the divine. Warnings or promises that had to be interpreted by experts. The official histories of your people, the ones written by the elite, are full of such omens. It was said that before the Spanish arrived, a series of terrifying portents appeared, foretelling the doom of the empire. A comet that looked like a flaming ear of corn, a temple that burst into flames for no reason, the sound of a wailing woman in the night. But historians will debate the true nature of these omen stories. Were they genuine beliefs that guided the actions of your leaders? Or were they narrative devices, written in hindsight to make the fall of the empire seem like a fated cosmic tragedy rather than a political and military defeat? Did people really believe that a broken spindle wheel could predict the outcome of a birth? For the elite, it may have been a political tool. But for you, in this small room filled with the smoke of incense, it is terrifyingly real. The universe has sent you a personal, horrifying message. It has shown you a crack in the fabric of your destiny. You feel a sense of guilt. Was it your clumsiness? A moment of inattention? A dark thought that you allowed to fester? You replay the moment over and over in your mind. You feel responsible, as if your own inner turmoil has manifested itself in the physical world, breaking the tool in your hands. The waiting is no longer a peaceful, hopeful state. It is a tense, nerve-wracking vigil. Every twinge in your body, every flutter of the baby inside you, is now analyzed for meaning. Is it a good sign? Daybird 1. You are living on a knife's edge. Caught between the hope for life and the terrifying portent of a broken piece of clay. The battle is no longer a distant event on the horizon. The first shot has been fired, and it was aimed directly at you. The night before your labor begins is unlike any other night of your life. The air in your small room is thick with anticipation. The final preparations are made, not with the frantic energy of fear, but with a kind of solemn, ritualistic focus. You are no longer treated as a patient, fragile and delicate. You are treated as a warrior. The midwife has returned and will not leave your side now until it is over. She supervises everything. Your hair, which has been worn up in the style of a married woman, is taken down. It is washed one last time and allowed to hang loose over your shoulders. This is not for comfort. It is symbolic. Everything must be loosened, unbound, opened, all knots must be untied. The midwife checks the sashes on your family's clothes, ensuring there are no tight knots. The lids on storage chests in the house are left ajar. The idea is to magically encourage your own body to open, to release the baby without obstruction. Any binding in the household could be magically reflected in a bound or blocked birth. You are given a special drink, an herbal infusion prepared by the midwife. It contains ingredients meant to give you strength and stamina, but also herbs that are known to gently encourage the start of contractions. It's a practice that future medical professionals would recognize as a form of natural induction. It tastes bitter and earthy. With every sip, you feel like you are drinking your own courage. Your husband comes to you. He does not say much. The time for words is over. He simply sits with you. His presence is solid, comforting weight in the room. The midwife has given him his own set of instructions. During the battle to come, he is not to show any fear or despair. He must be a pillar of strength. His courage, it is believed, will feed your own. If he panics, it could cause your spirit to weaken and falter. He is your emotional anchor, your silent second in command. The midwife speaks to you in a low, steady voice. She is no longer the gentle advisor or the stern rule giver. She is your battle commander, giving you your final briefing. You are strong, she says, her hands on your shoulders. Your body knows what to do. The child knows the way. Do not fight the pain. The pain is not your enemy. The pain is the battle itself. It is the sound of your body at war. Welcome it. Use it. With every wave, you are closer to victory. With every wave, you are pushing your captive out into the light. She reminds you of the stakes, the honor, the glory. She speaks of the goddesses who are watching over you, the spirits of the brave women who have fought this battle before you. She is not trying to calm you down. She is trying to fire you up. She is rallying your spirit, focusing your will, preparing you for the ordeal. It's a pep talk for the soul. The historical accuracy of these pre-labor rituals is well documented in the Florentine Codex. The encyclopedia compiled by the Spanish friar Sahagun based on interviews with Aztec elders. His informants described these scenes in vivid detail, emphasizing the blend of practical medicine and spiritual exhortation. It shows a deep understanding of the psychological component of childbirth. They knew that a woman's state of mind was as important as her physical condition. But there is a detail in these accounts that scholars still debate. The texts say that at this point, the woman would take on the persona of a warrior. She would gird herself for battle and let out a series of war cries. Was this literal? Did women actually shout war cries as they went into labor? Or was this another of the formal, metaphorical flourishes of the Nahuatl language, a poetic way of describing a woman's inner resolve? It's a tantalizing image. A woman in a dimly lit room, her hair and bone, letting out the same shouts as a man charging into combat. We may never know for sure if it was a sound or a feeling. As the night deepens, a quiet resolve settles over you. The fear is still there, a cold stone in the pit of your stomach. The image of the skeletal sea, weight tail is never far from your mind. But layered over it now is something else, a sense of purpose, a fatalistic acceptance. The time for worrying is over. The path is set. You are not a victim being led to a medical procedure. You are a consecrated warrior, anointed and prepared for the most important fight of your existence. Every person in your household, every ritual, every prayer, has been focused on this single point in time. You are the tip of the spear. You lay back on the reed mat, the scent of herbs and incense filling your senses. You listen to the quiet sounds of the house, the night birds outside, the steady rhythm of your own heart, waiting. You are no longer just a woman. You are no longer just a wife. You are a weapon of creation, armed and ready. The battlefield is quiet. The armies are in position, and you are waiting for the first signal, the first drumbeat of the war. It begins with a dull, low ache in the small of your back, a sensation you felt before. But this one is different. It's deeper, more persistent. You lie still, breathing through it, waiting. Then it comes again, a slow tightening across your belly, a gathering wave of pressure. It holds for a moment, then slowly recedes. You give a small nod to the midwife, who is sitting silently in the corner of the room. She nods back. It has begun. The news spreads through the house, not in a shout, but in a wave of purposeful silence. Your mother-in-law and your own mother, who has come to be with you, enter the room. Their faces are masks of calm, focused support. They are your trusted lieutenants, your shield bearers. They begin to busy themselves with small, practical tasks, preparing cool cloths, brewing more of the strengthening tea. Their quiet, steady movements are a comfort. As the hours pass, the waves of pressure become stronger, more defiant. They are no longer just an ache. They are contractions. A powerful, involuntary clenching of your entire midsection. The midwife's words echo in your mind. The pain is the battle itself. You try to embrace it. You imagine each contraction as a warrior's stride, carrying you closer to your goal. You are not left alone to lie on your back. The midwife encourages you to move. You walk around the small room, leaning on your husband for support during the peak of each wave. You squat, a position the midwife says will help the captive descend. The force of the contractions is immense, a power that seems to come from the very core of the earth. It is terrifying and awe-inspiring. Your body has been taken over by a force far greater than yourself. You are just the vessel for this storm. The midwife is a constant, steady presence. She speaks to the baby, her voice slow and coaxing. "Come now, little one." She murmurs, her hands gently pressing on your belly. "Come now, my precious eagle. Come now, my little warrior. Do not be afraid. Your mother is strong. She is waiting for you." She is not just talking to a fetus. She is addressing a person, a soul, encouraging it to make the perilous journey from the other world into this one. She also speaks to you, her voice cutting through the haze of pain. "Breathe, little daughter. Breathe with the wave. Do not cry out yet. Save your strength. The battle has just begun. You are a brave woman. You are a warrior of the jaguar." She uses the titles of the most elite military orders to praise you, to bolster your spirit. This active, mobile approach to labor, with encouragement for squatting and walking, is something that will be rediscovered by modern medicine thousands of years in the future as a more effective and humane way to manage childbirth. For your midwife, it is simply ancient, female wisdom, passed down through generations. Your family is drawn into the rhythm of your labor. They are not passive spectators. They are an active part of the battle. Your husband holds you. Your mother wipes your brow with a cool cloth. Your mother-in-law holds the cup of herbal tea to your lips between contractions. They are your support crew. Your army. Their collective hope and strength are tangible forces in the room, a shield against the encroaching fear. The sun rises, casting long shadows into the room. A whole night has passed. The battle rages on. The contractions are closer now, longer, and a new, sharper edge has come to the pain. This is the heart of the fight. Now, the midwife allows you to use your voice. With each contraction, she encourages you to let out a low, guttural sound, a groan that comes from deep within. It is not a scream of panic, but a focused expression of effort, like the grunt of a man lifting a heavy stone. But, as the sun climbs higher in the sky, a subtle change occurs in the room, a new tension. The midwife's calm expression is still there, but her eyes are a little tighter around the edges. She checks the baby's position more frequently, her brow furrowed in concentration. The battle is lasting longer than she expected. The captive is refusing to be taken. The historical records are, for obvious reasons, quiet about the specific medical details of what could go wrong. They speak of difficult births in general terms, but we can infer the realities. A baby in a breech position, a cord wrapped around the neck, a cervix that refuses to dilate. In your time, these were not medical complications to be solved with surgery. They were signs that the battle was turning against you. They were signs that the enemy, the threshold between worlds, was winning. You can feel the shift in the room's energy. The hope is still there, but it is now laced with a thread of desperation. The encouraging words continue, but they are a little more forced, a little louder, as if to drown out the growing silence of fear. The drumbeat of the contractions continues, relentless and punishing, but you are no longer making progress. You are a warrior, pinned down, taking heavy fire, unable to advance. The easy victory is gone. Now, it is a fight for survival. The sun reaches its zenith, high and hot in the sky, and then begins its slow descent toward the west. And still, the battle continues. The room, once a sanctuary of hopeful energy, now feels like a besieged fortress. The air is thick with sweat, exhaustion, and the metallic tang of fear. You have been fighting for a day and a night. Your body is a landscape of pure sensation. Beyond pain, beyond exhaustion, you are in a strange, altered state, drifting between the sharp reality of a contraction and a hazy, grey nothingness in between. Time has lost all meaning. There is only the endless, punishing rhythm of the battle. The midwife's face, once a beacon of calm authority, is now etched with deep lines of strain. She has used every tool in her arsenal. She has changed your position a dozen times. She has massaged your belly with powerful, deep strokes. She has given you every herbal remedy she knows. She has prayed to every god and goddess in her pantheon. And still, the baby will not come. Her fight is no longer just for the baby. It is for you. She is fighting for your very soul. She makes a difficult decision. It is time to invoke a more powerful, more dangerous magic. She sends your mother-in-law to the family shrine to retrieve a specific object, a small piece of the tail of an opossum. This may sound bizarre, a piece of strange folk magic. But to your people, the opossum is a creature of immense mythological power. It was the opossum, according to one legend, who stole fire from the gods and brought it to humanity. It is a creature known for its cleverness, its resilience, and its ability to play dead and then return to life. It is a symbol of resurrection and cunning. Its medicine is strong, but unpredictable. The midwife takes the piece of tail and grinds it into a powder, mixing it with water. She holds the cup to your lips. "Drink, little daughter," she commands, her voice urgent. "Drink the strength of the trickster. Let it show your child the way out." This is a last resort. The use of powerful animal totems in medicine was common, but always carried a risk. It was an appeal to wild, untamed forces. Whether this opossum-tail remedy had any actual physiological effect is a question that will forever remain unanswered. Some historians might speculate that certain compounds in the animal's flesh could have acted as a powerful uterine stimulant, but dangerous. Uncontrolled dose of the very thing they were trying to achieve. Others will see it as purely symbolic, a psychological Hail Mary, an attempt to break the spiritual impasse. You drink the gritty liquid. You have no strength left to question, only to obey. You feel a new surge of energy, or perhaps it's just the power of belief. The contractions intensify to a level you would not have thought possible. A single, searing wave of fire that seems to tear you in two. But nothing happens. The baby remains trapped. The last gambit has failed. The atmosphere in the room changes completely. The pretense of a normal, if difficult, birth is abandoned. The midwife's face becomes a mask of grim resolve. Her struggle is no longer to win the battle, but to save the warrior. She looks at you, but in her eyes, you see not pity, but a kind of fierce, warrior's respect. You have fought bravely. You have not given up, but the enemy is too strong. She begins a new set of prayers. Her voice now a low, mournful chant. She is no longer speaking to the goddesses of fertility and life. She is speaking to the gods of the underworld. She is preparing your spirit for its journey. She is negotiating the terms of your surrender. She washes your face and hands with cool water. She straightens your hair. These are the final rites, the preparations for a body that is about to be left behind. Your family, seeing this, understands. Your mother begins to weep silently, her hand over her mouth. Your husband's face is pale, his knuckles white as he clutches your hand. The fight is over. You are floating now, in a quiet, grey space. The pain is distant, a dull echo. The voices in the room sound like they are coming from the other side of a thick wall. You can feel your own life force, a flickering flame, beginning to dim. You have been captured. The midwife leans close, her lips to your ear. Her final words a whisper meant only for you. "Do not be afraid, brave warrior," she says, her voice thick with unshed tears. "Your name will be honored. You will become a goddess. You will march with the sun." It is her final gift to you, a promise of glory, an assurance that your long, terrible fight was not in vain. She is easing your passage from the world of the living to the world of the honored dead. She has failed to save your life, but she is determined to save your soul. The world goes soft, the sharp edges of pain, the urgent voices, the clawing smell of herbs and sweat. It all begins to blur, to fade into a gentle, humming grey. It's not an unpleasant feeling. It's like sinking into a warm, deep bath. The frantic struggle is over, and in its place, there is only a profound, bottomless weariness. You feel a sense of detachment, as if you are floating up towards the thatched roof of your small room. You can see the scene below you, like a painted image in one of the sacred books. You see your own body, pale and still on the reed mat. You see the midwife, her shoulders slumped in defeat. You see your mother's face, crumpled in a mask of grief. You see your husband, his head bowed, his body shaking with silent sobs. Their sorrow is a distant thing, a sad story about someone else. You have been captured on your battlefield. The enemy, the threshold between worlds, has claimed you. Your last sensation is not one of fear or regret, but of a quiet, final release. The heavy, demanding weight of your pregnant body is gone. The responsibility, the hope, the terror, it all dissolves. You are light. You are free. You are nothing. And then, darkness, a cool, silent, all-encompassing black. It is not a frightening darkness. It is a peaceful one, a void, the end, or so you think. The belief system of your people does not have a single, universal afterlife. Where you go depends entirely on how you die. It is a concept that will fascinate future scholars of religion. Most people, those who die of old age or common illness, undertake a long and perilous journey through the 9 levels of the underworld, Mictlan, at the end of which their souls are finally extinguished. It is a grim, arduous path. But for those who die in specific, honored ways, the journey is different. Men who die in battle and those who are sacrificed to the gods go to a paradise in the east, the house of the sun. There, they spend their days in joyful mock combat, their spirits feasting on celebrating. Theirs is an afterlife of eternal, glorious action. People who die from water-related causes, drowning, lightning strikes, or certain diseases believed to be caused by the water gods, go to a different paradise called Talakan. It is a place of eternal spring, of verdant, fertile land with an endless supply of maize, beans, and fruit. It is an afterlife of peaceful, blissful abundance. And then there is you. The women who die in childbirth have their own, unique destination. It is not in the east with the warriors, nor in the watery paradise of Telekan. Your destination is the west. The Siai-Wat Lampe, the place of women. This is the western paradise, the house of the setting sun. It is here that you are destined to go. It is a place of immense honor, equal in status to the warrior's paradise in the east. You have earned your place here through your sacrifice. You have died the most honorable death a woman can. This partitioning of the afterlife based on the manner of death is a subject of much scholarly discussion. Some see it as a reflection of a deeply fatalistic worldview, where individual morality or belief has no bearing on one's ultimate fate. It doesn't matter if you were a good or a bad person. All that matters is the divine category your death falls into. Others see it as a powerful tool of social engineering, by promising a glorious afterlife for warriors, sacrificial victims, and women who die in childbirth. The state provided a powerful incentive for people to accept, and even embrace, these high-risk roles that were essential for the empire's survival. It was a cosmic reward system for those who served the state's needs unto death. You know none of this. You only know the fading light. The great, warm sun of your world is being extinguished. You feel it setting within your own being. The sounds of your home, the weeping of your family, grow fainter and fainter until they are gone completely, replaced by a profound and absolute silence. You drift in this silent, black ocean for a time that has no measurement. There is no thought, no memory, no sense of self. You are simply gone, captured, defeated. Your battle is lost. Your last breath has been taken. Your story, in the world of the living, is over. But in another world, a story is just beginning. Your death is not an ending. It is a transformation. You are not destined for rest or for oblivion. You are destined for a new kind of duty, a new kind of war. You have fallen, but you are about to be reborn, not as a peaceful spirit, but as a goddess. And your awakening will not be gentle. Back in the world of the living, your death sets off a new and frantic kind of battle. Your body, the vessel that fought so hard and failed, has now become a different kind of object, a sacred relic of immense power, and it must be guarded. Your family's grief is sharp and profound, but they have no time to indulge it. As word of your death spreads through the neighborhood, a strange and unsettling vigilance descends upon your home. Your husband and his brothers, their faces grim and set, take up positions at the doorways. They are on, not for war with another city, but for a fight against their own neighbors. Because your body is now a trophy. Specifically, parts of it all, according to the beliefs of your people. The body of Amokias Watachi, a brave woman. The official title for a woman who has died in childbirth, is imbued with a powerful, supernatural magic. She is no longer human. She is a divine being in transition, and her physical remains are charged with her warrior spirit. And certain people want a piece of their power. The primary threat comes from warriors. A warrior who is about to go into battle, or one who feels his courage is waning, will do anything to obtain a talisman from the body of a fallen woman warrior. The most coveted prizes are the middle finger of her left hand and the lock of her hair. It is believed that if a warrior can cut off this finger and embed it in his shield, the shield will become supernaturally powerful. It will not just deflect arrows, it will paralyze his enemies with fear. The spirit of the dead woman, the CIHWTL in the making, will fight alongside him, her ghostly presence terrifying his opponents and making them easy to capture. A lock of her hair, tied to his arm, is said to bestow upon him her fierce, unwavering bravery. The other threat comes from a less noble source: sorcerers and thieves. A sorcerer who obtains the left forearm of a Mokia's Witokchi is believed to possess a powerful tool for malevolent magic. And a thief who carries the arm with him can use it to put the inhabitants of a house into a deep, trance-like sleep, allowing him to burglar their home without resistance. The arm of the woman who died trying to give life becomes a tool for dark magic and crime. This belief system creates a bizarre and macabre situation. Your grieving family must oust and guard over your remains for 4 days and 4 nights, the traditional period before burial. They have to protect you from being desecrated, not by enemies, but by members of their own community seeking to harness your power for their own ends. Your husband, his heart broken, must now become a sentry, his grief mingled with the grim duty of protecting your corpse from his fellow warriors, men he might fight in the next campaign. It is a strange, almost surreal testament to the power ascribed to you in death. You are more potent, more magically charged, now that you are dead than you ever were in life. This phenomenon is one of the most curious and debated aspects of your culture's treatment of the honored dead. Why this specific, physical appropriation of the body? Some anthropologists will see it as a form of sympathetic magic, a belief that like produces like. By taking a piece of a brave warrior which you now are, another warrior can absorb that bravery. It's a literal, physical transfer of a spiritual quality. Others will propose a more psychological interpretation. Perhaps it was a way for the male warrior class to co-opt and control the immense power of female creation. Even in death, they literally take a piece of the woman's body and subsum it into their own masculine world of warfare and shields. It's a way of acknowledging female power while simultaneously domesticating it for male use. And the use of your body parts by sorcerers. This points to the deep ambiguity of your new status. You are honored, yes, but you are also terrifying. You are a goddess, but you are also a source of dark, dangerous power. You walk a knife's edge between the sacred and the profane. So while your spirit is drifting in the silent, black void, a tense drama unfolds around your physical form. The sounds of your family's mourning are punctuated by the tense silence of their vigil. They watch the shadows, listening for the telltale scrape of a sandal, the quiet sound of someone trying to sneak into the compound under the cover of darkness. For 4 days, the siege continues. Finally, on the 4th day, your body is prepared for its final journey. You are dressed in your finest clothes and buried with great ceremony, not in a common grave, but at a special place, a crossroads, the very place where your spirit will one day descend to haunt the living. Your burial site becomes a shrine, a place of power, a permanent marker of the battle that was fought and lost on this ground. Your family's watch is over. Your body is finally at rest, but you are not. Your journey is just beginning. Your first sensation is of a faint, pale light, not the warm, radiant gold of the sun you knew, but a cool, ethereal, silver-grey light, like the sky just before a storm. It seeps into your awareness slowly, a gradual dawn after an eternity of darkness. You huddle body again, but it is not the body you remember. It is not the soft, pregnant body that was your prison and your battlefield. You look down at your hands. They are bone, long, pale, Elegant bones, stripped clean of all flesh and sinew. You flex your fingers, and they move with a dry, clicking sound. They are not the nurturing hands that ground maize and wove cloth. They are claws, not the savage, bestial claws of an animal, but something more refined, more unavengable human. They are the hands you saw carved in stone at the crossroads shrine. You are lying not on a reed mat, but on a bed of dry, silvery grass. You sit up. The movement is effortless, weightless. The aches, the heaviness, the weariness of your mortal life are gone. You feel a strange, cold tower humming within your new form. You look around you. You are in a landscape of twilight. The sky above is a permanent, bruised purple, streaked with veins of orange and pink. There is no sun, no moon. The light seems to emanate from the very air itself. The ground is covered in the same silvery grass, and the trees are stark, black silhouettes with bare branches that look like skeletal fingers reaching for the sky. The air is cool and still, and there is no sound. No birds, no insects, no wind, only an absolute, profound silence. This is the sea I what Lampe, the place of women, the western paradise. You are not alone. Other figures are beginning to stir around you. They rise from the silver grass like you did, their bony forms silhouetted against the twilight sky. They are all like you, skeletal women, their lipless mouths fixed in what could be a grin or a grimace. The hair, you see now, is long and black, but coarse and tangled, like a horse's mane. They are dressed in the simple white skirts of peasant women, a stark contrast to their terrifying forms. There is no formal greeting, no welcome. There is only a slow, silent gathering, a company of the dead. You recognize no one, and yet you feel a strange sense of kinship. You are all sisters in sacrifice. You have all fought the same battle and earned the same strange, horrifying reward. You are the CIH tale, the divine women. This depiction of the afterlife, separate paradise for women who die in childbirth, is one of the most remarkable features of your religious system. While many cultures honor mothers, few have created such a detailed and elevated mythological space for those who die in the act of creation. Why the West? The West is the direction of the setting sun. It is the direction of endings, of death, of descent. In your cosmology, the sun is born in the east, travels across the sky, and dies in the west every single day. By placing your paradise in the west, your culture created a powerful symmetry. The male warriors who die in battle go to the east, to help the sun rise. You, the female warriors, go to the west, to preside over its death. They are the ushers of the dawn. You are the pallbearers of the dusk. The scholarly debate on this point is fascinating. Some interpret this as a perfect, harmonious balance. Men and women, warriors of both kinds, are given equal and complementary cosmic duties. The entire journey of the sun, the most important event in the universe, is managed by the spirits of those who died in service to the state. But other scholars, particularly feminist historians, will see a darker undertone. The men get the glorious, active duty of the sunrise, of birth and new beginnings. The women are assigned the duty of the sunset, of endings and death. The men's afterlife is one of noisy, joyous celebration. Yours is one of cold, silent duty. Is it truly equal? Or is it a subtle reflection of a worldview that associates the masculine with light and life, and the feminine, even in its most honored form, with darkness and death? You are not thinking about cosmic symmetry. You are grappling with the horrifying reality of your new existence. This is your reward. An eternity is a skeleton in a silent, twilight world. The honor you were promised feels like a cosmic joke. You look at your bone-white claws, the hands that were supposed to cradle a child, and a feeling that is colder than the grave itself washes through you. It is not sadness. It is not anger. It is a hollow, empty despair. You have become the monster in the scary stories. You are the thing of nightmares. And this is your heaven. You stand in the silent, twilight fields of Huatlampe, a newcomer in a silent army of the dead. There are no introductions, no explanations. There is no need. The knowledge of your new purpose arrives not in words, but as an instinct, an innate understanding that settles into your bony form like dust settling on an ancient stone. You are a goddess now, but you are not a goddess who is worshipped with joy. You are a goddess of fear, of pain, and of honorable, tragic death. You are part of a collective, a sisterhood of sacrifice. You observe your new companions. They move with a strange, jerky grace, their skeletal limbs clicking softly on the dry ground. Some seem to wander aimlessly through the silver grass. Others sit in silent circles, their empty eye sockets staring at nothing. There is no camaraderie here, no comfort. There is only a shared, unending state of being. You are all trapped in the same beautiful, terrible dream. You learn that you have a new name. You are no longer the daughter of your father or the wife of your husband. You are now known by the calendar date of your death. If you died on the day 1 dear, you are now called Cih 1 dear. Your identity has been stripped away, replaced by a cosmic designation. You are a number and a symbol, a cog in the great machine of the universe, and you are part of a divine army. Just as the male warriors in the Eastern Paradise form a spiritual army to fight alongside the sun, you are now a soldier in the army of the setting sun. You are the Cih tail, the divine women, but you are also the Civ at tail, the women's company, a military term. Your sisterhood is a regiment. You begin to understand the hierarchy of this strange, silent world. There is a leader, a queen of the damned. She is the first, the most powerful of your kind. Her name is Cihuacotel, the snake woman. She is a major deity in the pantheon of your people, a goddess of the earth, of motherhood, and of the marketplace. But she is also a fearsome, terrifying figure. She is often depicted with a skull for a face and is said to wander the earth at night, weeping and wailing, a portent of war and disaster. She is your general, your commander. Her silence will direct your actions. The identity of Cihuacotel is one of the most complex and debated topics among scholars of your civilization. Is she a single goddess? Or is Cihuacotel a title held by a number of different Earth Mother goddesses? Her character is full of contradictions. She is a goddess of birth, yet she demands sacrifice. She is a protector of women, yet she is a terrifying specter whose cry brings death. She embodies the profound duality of the feminine in your culture, the life-giver and the life-taker, the nurturing mother and the devouring monster. You are now her handmaidens, her foot soldiers. You also learn that you are not just honored spirits. You are hungry spirits. You crave offerings from the world of the living. On the specific days of the calendar that are sacred to you, your living relatives will build small altars. They will leave offerings of food, special breads baked in the shape of butterflies, a symbol of the soul. They will burn incense for you. They will pray for you, and to you. But they also pray against you. They pray that you will stay in your twilight realm and not come to trouble them. They honor you and they fear you in equal measure. They are proud of your sacrifice, and they are terrified of what you have become. There's a strange detail that surfaces in the historical records about your new sisterhood. The Spanish chroniclers noted with a kind of fascinated horror that the Cih were considered the patrons of weavers and embroiderers, who were exceptionally skilled. The most talented artisans were said to be possessed by one of you. This created a strange paradox. A young woman at her loom might pray to you for inspiration, to guide her hands to create a masterpiece of cloth. But that same young woman, if she were to become pregnant, would pray with equal fervor that she would never, ever have to meet you. You are both the muse of female creativity and the ultimate symbol of its failure. You wander through the silver fields, a silent queen of a silent kingdom of bone. You are a goddess. You are a soldier. You are a monster. You are a muse. You are all of these things and none of them. You are a vessel of cosmic power, stripped of your humanity, waiting for your orders, waiting for the sun to reach its peak. Because when it does, your sacred, grim duty begins. The twilight in your western paradise is eternal, but you can still feel the passage of time. A subtle shift in the quality of the pale light. It is a cosmic clock. And you know, with an instinct you did not possess in life, what it means. The sun, Hightestaputic, has reached his zenith. He has won his morning battle and now stands at the peak of his power, blazing high above the world of the living. But his journey is only half over. Now he must begin his descent into the west, into darkness, and he is tired from his morning war. He cannot make the journey alone. Be silent. Invisible command ripples through the silver fields of sea I what man pay. It is the call to duty. From all corners of your silent kingdom, your skeletal sisters begin to stir. The aimless wandering ceases. The silent circles of sitting figures rise as one. A silent army assembles. You feel the call inside your own bony form, an irresistible pull. You take your place in the ranks. From the east, a great commotion can be heard, a faint echo from another world. It is the sound of the male warriors, the souls of the battle slain, who have accompanied the sun on his journey up from the dawn. Their duty is now done. They have carried him to the peak of the sky. And now, it is your turn. A magnificent litter appears at the zenith, the border between your realm and the world of the living. It is a grand palanquin, woven from quetzal feathers and gold, and upon it sits the sun, not the friendly, life-giving star you knew, but a being of immense, terrifying power, a blazing disk of pure energy that is painful to behold, even for your empty sockets. Your duty, your great and terrible honor, is to lift that litter. Together, the CIHWay tire, the company of divine women, surge forward. You and your sisters take your places along the sides of the great palanquin. You reach out with your bunny, curl like hens and take hold of the polished wooden poles. The heat is immense, a dry, consuming fire that would have incinerated your mortal flesh in an instant. But your new body of bone feels nothing. With a silent, coordinated effort, you lift the sun, and so begins the slow, solemn procession down the western slope of the sky. You are the pallbearers of the light. You carry the dying sun on his final journey towards the horizon, which is the maw of the earth monster, the entrance to the underworld. This is your eternal task, every single day. You are the guardians of the sunset. This cosmic geography is one of the most elegant and symmetrical parts of your people's mythology. The universe is a perfectly balanced stage. The Eastern warriors handle the morning shift, the masculine work of ascent and battle. You and your sisters handle the evening shift, the feminine work of descent and dignified death. Scholars will marvel at this. It presents a universe where the genders are given distinct but equally crucial cosmic roles. The entire functioning of time, the cycle of day and night, depends on the coordinated, post-mortem labor of both male and female heroes. It can be read as a powerful statement of gender complementation, a vision of the cosmos as a partnership. But, as always with your culture, there is a darker way to read it. The men's duty is associated with shouting, joy, and victory. Theirs is a boisterous parade. Your duty is silent, solemn, and funereal. They escort a rising king. You carry a dying god to his grave. Is it truly equal? Or does it relegate the divine feminine to the realm of endings, darkness, and sorrow? Historians will argue this point for centuries, looking at the same evidence and seeing completely different things. For you, there is no debate. There is only the immense, searing weight of the sun on your shoulders. You move in perfect, silent lockstep with your skeletal sisters. You are no longer an individual, just a part of a great, divine machine. Your gaze is fixed forward, towards the western horizon, where the sky bleeds into a deep, bloody crimson. You are a goddess. You have a vital cosmic role. You are a crucial part of the celestial mechanics that keep the universe running. This is the glory you were promised. This is the honor you died for. It is a slow, silent, and unending funeral march. You carry the source of all life towards its daily death, and as you walk, you can feel a change in the air. Pay attention. The barrier between your world and the world of the living is growing thin. The day of your descent is approaching. Soon, your duty will not be to carry the sun in the heavens. It will be to walk the earth among the mortals who fear you. The funeral march of the sun ends at the horizon. You and your sisters gently lower the great litter, delivering the fading orb into the jaws of the earth, where it will begin its perilous nightly journey through the underworld. Your cosmic duty for the day is done. The world of the living is plunged into darkness. Your world of twilight remains unchanged. You return to the silent, silver fields of Siai-Hort Lampe, but something is different. An energy crackles in the still air, a silent hum of anticipation. You know, with the same deep instinct that guides all your actions now, that the time is near. The sacred calendar, the tonal Pohuolai, continues its endless cycle, a wheel of fate that governs gods and mortals alike, and a specific date has arrived. It is one of the 5 days sacred to your order, a day of one deer, or one rain, or one monkey. These are the days when the gates of your western paradise swing open. These are the days you are permitted to return to the world you left behind. A silent summons from your queen, Siai-Huakotil, ripples through the assembled company. It is not a command, but a release, an unchaining. A hunger awakens within you. It is not a physical hunger for food, but a deeper, more primal craving, a hunger for the world of the living, a yearning for the warmth, the chaos, the vitality you have lost. It is a twisted, desperate form of homesickness that manifests as a malevolent urge. You and your skeletal sisters begin to move, not in the solemn, ordered ranks of the sun-bearers, but as a scattered, frantic horde. You surge towards a shimmering curtain in the twilight sky, the veil between the worlds. You pass through it. There is no sense of travel, no journey. One moment you are in the cool, silent fields of the dead. The next you are standing on the damp earth of the living world. The air is warm, thick, and alive with the sounds of the night. The chirping of crickets, the distant bark of a dog, the murmur of human voices from behind the walls of their homes. The smells are overwhelming. Wood smoke, night-blooming jasmine, the rich scent of cooking food, the stink of refuse in the canals. It is a riot of sensory information that is almost painful after the sterile silence of your afterlife. You have been unleashed. Your primary destination, your hunting ground, is the crossroads. You drift towards the nearest intersection of paths, a place of dirt and stone, lit by the faint, flickering light of the stars. Here, the boundaries are weak. Here, you have the most power. You are not alone. Your sisters are all around you. Silent, skeletal specters moving through the shadows. Some perch on the low roofs of the houses. Others lurk in the dark spaces between buildings. You are a ghostly infestation, a silent plague upon the sleeping city. The historical basis for this belief is robust, described in detail by Sahagan and other chroniclers. They recorded the deep fear that the population had of the Siai-Hort on these specific dates. People would lock themselves in their homes. They would paint their children's faces with black soot to disguise them, hoping the goddesses would overlook them. Shrines at the crossroads would be heaped with offerings, not of celebration, but of appeasement. Breads shaped like butterflies, paper banners, and small toys were left out to placate your hungry spirits, to beg you to take these symbolic gifts and leave the living children alone. The academic debate here centers on the meaning of this monstrous descent. Why would honored goddesses, who died in the noble act of trying to create life, be transformed into child-stealing, madness-inducing monsters? One theory suggests it is a manifestation of cosmic balance. In life, You are a vessel of creation. In death, you must become a vessel of destruction. It is the duality that governs your entire universe, played out in your own spiritual trajectory. You gave your life to create. So now you must threaten life to maintain the balance. A more psychological theory sees it as a projection of the immense anxieties surrounding childbirth and infant mortality. In a world where many children did not survive their first few years, the belief in supernatural child snatchers provided an explanation for these frequent, tragic deaths. It was not a random illness. It was the will of the goddesses. It gave a name and a face to the faceless terror of losing a child. And a darker, more critical theory will argue that it was a form of social control over women. It served as a terrifying warning. This is what happens to women who fail. They become not just dead, but monstrously anti-maternal. A threat to the very community they were supposed to serve. It's a powerful tool to enforce the idea that a woman's only value lies in successful reproduction. You, lurking at the crossroads, are not concerned with these theories. You are driven by the raw, hungry instinct of your new form. You see the warm, yellow light of a torch through a doorway. You hear the faint sound of a baby crying inside a home. And the hunger inside you sharpens into a painful, specific point. Your bony claws flex. Your lipless mouth opens in a silent, endless scream that no living ear can hear. You are a divine horror, a holy monster. And you have come home. You are a ghost at the crossroads, a creature of bone and memory, hunting the world you died to populate. The irony is a cold, sharp stone in the place where your heart used to be. You were celebrated in your home. Your pregnant body is symbol of hope and continuity. No, the inhabitants of that same home, perhaps even your own family, huddle behind their locked door, praying that you will not notice them. You see a young man, perhaps a warrior returning late to his barracks, striding confidently down the path. As he approaches the crossroads, he falters. He cannot see you, not clearly, but he can feel your presence. A sudden, unnatural chill in the air, a flicker of movement in the corner of his eye. The hair on his arm stands on end. He clutches the amulet at his neck and quickens his pace, his bravado evaporating into a scramble to get back to the safety of the light. He will later tell his friends he felt the icy breath of a demon on his neck. You are that demon. You see a woman peer out from a small window, her face etched with worry. She is checking on the offerings her family has left at the small shrine at the center of the crossroads. Is the bread still there? Is the incense still smoking? She is hoping that you will be satisfied with these small gifts, that you will take the symbolic offering and spare her living children. She looks directly at the spot where you are standing, but her eyes see only shadows. She shivers and quickly retreats from the window. You are the reason for her fear. This is the ultimate paradox of your existence. You are a CIHWTOTL, a divine woman. Your sacrifice was honorable. Your status in the afterlife elevated. You are a goddess. And yet, you are also a plague, a haunting, a source of terror and disease. Your divinity does not make you benevolent. It makes you dangerous. This complex relationship between divinity and danger is a hallmark of your people's religion. The gods are not simply good or evil. They are vast, powerful, and deeply ambivalent forces of nature. Tunikor, the rain god, brings the life-giving showers that make the maize grow, but he also sends the devastating floods and the lightning strikes that kill. Hytistaputic is the glorious sun that warms the earth. But he is also the insatiable god of war who demands an endless supply of human blood. The gods give with one hand and take with the other. They are forces to be respected, appeased, bent, above all, feared. And you have become one of them. You embody this terrifying duality. You are the memory of maternal love twisted into a predatory hunger. You are the ultimate sacrifice transformed into the ultimate threat. The scholarly world will forever grapple with your legacy. Were you a symbol of female empowerment? A warrior goddess whose power was so great it was terrifying? Or were you a cautionary tale, a monstrous warning against female failure, a tool to keep women in a state of fear and submission? The answer is likely both, and neither. You are a reflection of a culture that saw life and death, creation and destruction, love and horror, not as opposites, but as inextricably intertwined partners in a grand, cosmic dance. You are the embodiment of that terrible, beautiful dance. The night wears on. The stars begin to pale. In the east, a faint grey light announces the coming of the dawn. The sun, your former burden, is beginning his morning battle to be reborn. And your time is over. As the first true rays of sunlight strike the earth, the silent commander calls you. The hunger inside you recedes, replaced by the familiar, cold stillness of your everyday death. You feel your form becoming thin, transparent. The vibrant, living world begins to fade from your senses. The smells, the sounds, the warmth, it all dissolves. You are pulled back through the veil, back to the silent, silver fields of Ci, Wat Nam Pe, back to your twilight kingdom of bone and memory. Your sisters are all here, returned from their nightly haunt. The gates to the living world are closed. You take your place among the silent ranks, ready for your next duty, ready to once again lift the litter of the sun on his journey towards the west. Your brief, terrible holiday is over. Your eternal, solemn work continues. You were a woman, you became a warrior. You died and became a goddess, and in doing so, you were reborn as a monster, forever haunting the crossroads between life and death, a divine and terrifying ghost at the heart of your own story. And so, the tale of the woman who became a goddess, and the goddess who became a monster, comes to its quiet, twilight end. Her story is a stark reminder of a world so different from our own. A world of beautiful, terrifying beliefs, where the lines between honor and horror, life and death, were drawn in a way we can barely comprehend. It is a story that now belongs to the silence of the past, a whisper from a world that is no more. And as this story fades, perhaps you can feel yourself drifting with it. The details, the names, the places, they can all soften now, like watercolor paint in the rain. They are not here to be remembered. They are only here to be a gentle weight, a soft sound, to accompany you as you move towards a place of deep and peaceful rest. There is nothing left to do, nothing to hold on to. You can simply let go and allow the quiet to hold you in its gentle embrace. Our journey together tonight ends here, in this quiet place. Should you need another tale to accompany you further into rest, my library of stories is always open for you. May your dreams be kind. Good night.